Hi folks, this is Karen Lohoff again. I am finding this to be the craziest thing. I can't stay focused on anything else I'm doing. Here I have this list. I'm trying to follow it. I'm trying to be a little disciplined, and I just am so anxious to share some things with you from this morning's mindset call. I've actually already done a blog post that doesn't have one of my videos with it. I don't need to do anything more there. I should be doing a lot of other things, but I have to tell you that I just really want to do this. Part of it is, I guess, that I just saw a video on pretend you're broke. And it's so funny with the blog post that I did with the video I just mentioned to you that wasn't one of mine, and with the ideas that I had been reviewing here with what turns out to be chapter 6 of Wallace Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich. So I'm going to go ahead. What we covered this morning just delighted me. And the reason I'm so anxious to share it with you now is I realize there are so many ideas in here that I had never run across before, except when I have read the book before. I told you I'm on about the third time of this with the mastermind call. But before that time, and it's interesting, these ideas, not all of these ideas are totally settled into my subconscious yet, which is where they need to be. But I want to share them with you because they may be new to you as well. I would guess that more people that I talk to tend to not know about Wallace Wattles, tend to not know about the science of getting rich than do. So, and again, if you paid any attention before some of the videos that I've done before, you'll know that this was published in about 1910, and that's why I'm not concerned about sharing with you the words that he shared. They're his. You know, he's not still alive. I'm laughing because I wonder how many people would want to live that long. I mean, he was obviously an adult at that time. He looked like he was probably 50s or so. Hard to tell in that era, and hard to know if the picture was, you know, a recent picture or any of those things. But he creates, in my mind, such a different picture about being rich or wealthy or having enough and to spare. And this chapter 6 is called How Riches Come to You. So if you're as maybe unschooled in the whole idea of riches and how they can come, and I say how they can come, he talks in other chapters about a competitive plane and people who can really drive themselves through everyone and obtain riches on the competitive plane. And he talks about the creative plane, not in this chapter. But anyway, he says, when I say you don't have to drive sharp bargains, I don't mean you don't have to drive any bargains at all, or that you are above the necessity for having any dealings with your fellow men. And that has struck me. I know that I've mentioned to you before that I can easily think of myself as exceptional. Part of that for me was the church that I was raised in. and the idea that if it's the only true, then I have to be above others. Of course, when you get a little more educated and you spread yourself around a little bit more, you realize that the number of churches who teach that they are true, kind of goes beyond the idea that just one can be. So he talks about how he's not telling us we need to be unfair, but we don't have to get something for nothing. We can just give to every man more than we take. Oh, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? You cannot give every man more in cash value than you take from him when you're talking about employees, but you can give him more in use value than the cash value of the thing that you take from him. He does mention competitive and creative plane. When you rise from the competitive to the creative plane, you scan your business transactions very strictly, and if you are selling any man anything which does not add more to his life than the thing he gives you in exchange, you can afford to stop it. I know that part of why I'm so motivated tonight is I've listened to so many people who have made money online. I have listened to a number of people who made a large amount of money, $1 million in the last year, online, when they hadn't made anything significant in their life before. And then I've just recently listened to people that I know because of how long I've been on the internet, not working the internet, just around to look at the internet and see what's on the internet, who is. I know that they've been around a long time, and I know an idea of the money that they've made and have been making for years. And if you think about going to just about any website on the internet where people are striving to learn to make money on the internet or striving to teach others to make money on the internet, I don't know how you can help but be impressed with how much is offered. And I know that I've thought for years, how come? How come when you come to the internet world, people are eager to extend to you gifts, information, products, trips, all kinds of things? Why? And I believe that it's such an explanation to understand that so many of these people read the same books and read the same authors and are aware of the same concepts. If you have employees, what you can do is make your business such that each employee who wishes to may advance a little every day. Now I'm skipping. I'm not reading the whole chapter, in case you're thinking, I know that chapter. She left something out there. But this is something that I think is a great story. It's a wonderful story. And it's a story that can be applied to so many things. And each of you can possibly find something in your mind that you'd like to apply it to. Now keep in mind that you can type in The Science of Getting Rich. I apologize that I'm not looking at the camera's eye. You can type in The Science of Getting Rich, and what I'd like to encourage you to do is go to sacred texts. I'm kind of partial to them because I need to be able to get copies that I can highlight for me, and I can make the letters larger. That's what happens when you don't wear glasses and you've had glasses forever. Okay, so if you want a sewing machine, for instance, I do not mean to tell you that you are to impress the thought of a sewing machine on thinking substance. Now, thinking substance is truly a new concept to me in this book, and he's covered it before chapter 6, and he keeps covering it throughout the book. But if it sounds a little bit interesting to you, I would, again, encourage you to download the free ebook I just told you about. It doesn't have to be from Sacred Texts. It can be any of the ones that you want. And get some of these other concepts in mind as well. Oh boy. So I do not mean to tell you that you are impressed the thought of a sewing machine on thinking substance until the machine is formed without hands in the room where you sit or elsewhere. But if you want a sewing machine, hold the mental image of it with the most positive certainty that it is being made or is on its way to you. After once forming the thought, have the most absolute and unquestioning faith that the sewing machine is coming. Never think of it or speak of it in any other way than as being sure to arrive. Claim it as already yours. I think part of my difficulty may be that I have a pretty literal imagination. And I've heard many different teachers talk about this concept and talk about it oftentimes in forms of seeds. And as I think about a seed, it takes so long to grow that I haven't been able to keep all of the parts of this process together. But it will be brought to you by the power of the Supreme Intelligence, acting upon the minds of men. If you live in Maine or Texas, it may be that a man will be brought from one of those states, or Japan, to engage in some transaction which will result in your getting what you want. If so, the whole matter will be as much to that man's advantage as it is to yours. Now, I'm probably not even halfway through just the parts that I wanted to share with you, and since I've cut out many of the parts, you have a very just basic idea. But if you're intrigued, if you're thinking there's something here that I want to learn more about, go and download the book. Join us on our mastermind in the mornings if you'd like to. Go to my blog, Karen, KAR-EN.com, and you will be able to tell by the title that some of the things that I have done a video with have to do with Think and Grow Rich, which is part of the mastermind call that I'm talking with you about, as well as this book, The Science of Getting Rich. And I'm going to go ahead and do another video tomorrow on the remainder of what I failed to share with you today. But for right now, I hope that you've enjoyed maybe something new, maybe something impressive to you, maybe something that you can see helping you. I'm sure you've probably heard of this kind of concept with relationships. Hold in your mind the person you want to have a relationship, meaning not knowing who they are, but that you want to draw them to you. So consider that there are many things that you can do with just a little bit more knowledge. Talk to you later. Bye.